Welcome back. This one is part 2 of this series looking at contemplation. Looking at contemplating. Contemplation is really what I'm doing here. Yeah. Inquiry. I spent the next couple of days really thinking about this. What was that fear? And it was such an intense you know how you can have literally lasted maybe 5 seconds at the most. Really very quickly, but it's sort of embedded in who you are. So I had this remembrance of it, and I was able to pull up the remembrance enough to be able to really sort through what it was. I went to the Gene Keys book, and I looked at the back and looked at the chart of all of the shadows, gifts, and cities, and I went, okay, this is not the way I'm going to approach this, because to me, that's just very dry. So instead, I went to my chart of dream arc animals. And what I've done here is I've done them by astrological sign here, which is why they're never in numerical order. So astrological sign, and it tells me, like the salmon is a journeyer, the fear of not finding love. Okay. And then the lion is the guardian and a loving self-acceptance. And then the flamingo is a changer and the vision of universal love. And the programming partner is 46. And this was Gene Key 25, and it's on the cusp of Pisces and Aries. So I have this incredible chart that I can just pick up and look at. So I decided to sort through the fears on here to see if I could recognize that fear. Now, granted, the first thing I thought about was, is this actually the fear of presence? And the fear of presence is represented by the fly. And the fly is actually not the fear of presence, it's the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out. And I was going, what would, okay, first of all, let me feel it out. Does that feel right? Is a fear of missing out. And I thought, I don't know, maybe, because I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on my own thoughts. I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on something I'm supposed to be doing instead. I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on some great idea I'm going to have here in the woods. That was a possibility. And I kept that in my mind that, that's very possible. So then I went back to, to the art hut. We came back and stuff. And the next morning I was thinking about it. And that's when I went through here looking at the fear of not finding love. Okay, it wasn't that. So I'm sorting through all of these. And the list I came up with that it could be that felt somewhat similar to what that fear was is 56, the fear of being human. 50, overwhelmed. 21, the fear of letting go. 16, the fear of one's power. And then 53, the fear of form, actual form, not even just being human, but the fear of form. That one seemed to resonate the most at that time. Okay, that was the closest to the fear I had been feeling. So I actually decided to look that one up, and it's the snake. And it resonated enough for me at this moment that I actually did an art journal page in my Dream Arc art journal on the bringing in the snake, because the snake is somewhat like the dragon, and we are in the dragon pod. We're in the dragon pod at the moment. The dragon is our uber guardian, so to speak. So I thought I'd include the snake's writings there. However, although I'm glad I have that, and I'm glad to bring that energy into my dream arc experience, that as I went through the day and went through the next day, that's not the fear I was feeling. The fear of form. Now, the fear of form, yeah, sure, we all have this incredibly deep fear of form because with the fear of form comes death. We live in, a world where we are born and then we die. And so the fear of form is this impending death fear. However, that's not what I was feeling when I was overcome by beauty. Okay. So I went to, actually, I'll show you. This is not the process I went through. I was just contemplating. But today, to try to illustrate it to you, I wanted to show you what the connection could be. When I was in the group called Destined, we were a group of women in the journey home who explored our activation sequence together. We had 4 months of going through our activation sequence last winter. And as part of that, Haley Curtis, our guide, suggested we do some kind of try something that brings in the key that we were in at the time. So I'm going to show you my evolution key. I did some digital magic utilizing the dream arc animals of that key. And this is what I came up with. It's in my gigantic Lizzie Dewey handmade journal. But it gives me the messages from all of those animals. So I read about the fly, which is that fear of missing out, and what I'd written here, which was taken from the dream arc, and it didn't ring true for the fear I was feeling. So I thought, okay, what is connected to my evolution key? And that would be its programming partner. So I went back, because I'd done one also for my life's work. So I went back to my life's work, and I read about the lizard, and the lizard is the animal, the fear key, which is the fear of ease. And even now, as I say, the fear of ease, I am getting teary, which to me means that's it. Let me read the lizard. I am lizard. Oh, how very fortunate you are to draw near to me as I bask in lazy attention. For that is I, a point of razor still focus, both deeply at ease, yet fully awake. I can be your teacher if you listen. To listen, you will have to... I apologize. I have tears in my eyes. It's hard to read this. I can be your teacher if you listen. To listen, you will have to pause more often in your day. You cannot build inner power if you are in a spin all day long. I bring you to a period of increased inner discipline. But my kind of discipline is easy, because all you have to do is stop. Can you do nothing, even for a few minutes? That is where bliss lies. So when I imagine myself in that forest path, the sun shining on the turning leaves, this golden late afternoon light, and I feel myself fully present, there is a fear of ease. I feel, part of me feels like, what the fuck, girl? The fear of ease? Really? And I'm sitting here going, you're sitting there, you, the audience, are sitting there going, that's the weirdest fear. Because my whole life I've wanted and sought ease. But I guess that's the nature of these shadows, right? It's you have a fear of the very thing you're craving, the very thing you want. And how I am going to let go of feeling embarrassed about fearing ease here, or I'm never going to get anywhere. Each of you have your own fears. Each of you, you might have a fear of missing out. You might have a fear of being overwhelmed. You might have a fear of conflict. You might have a fear of asking for support. I actually have all those fears. I'm looking at my fear chart right now. And the one I was feeling the deepest fear with was that fear of ease. And let's stop this video here, and I will see you on the next one.